What is up, everyone? What is up? I know this is an unscheduled stream, but it is a special event where, well, I think we all know it right now. TikTok may not be around tomorrow. So, yeah. Too many people whining about the ban. It's not a whine when you've been working on a platform for several years, grinding to build it, and you actually get income from it, and then it's being shut down because a bunch of boomers don't understand it in Congress and the presidency and the judiciary, and it's all happening because a petulant little billionaire baby is losing ground to another social media app. So... But anyway, what's everyone up to? Going to miss your content in the UK. So I'm still making content. It just won't be on TikTok. So I do have a YouTube. I do have a Twitch. I'm actually simulcast to the Twitch right now. I will be on Xiaohongshu. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Mastodon. I'll be around, but unfortunately we won't be on TikTok. And a bunch of tech creators I'm seeing are already starting to move over to Xiaohongshu. There's a good chance that this may only be temporary. There's all the, but it's up in the air right now. It's up in the air right now with everything that's going on. It's not that I don't want, it's not that I want to go, it's that the United States government is banning it and TikTok will be going dark tomorrow. This has not been a secret for everyone. This has been months in the making. I don't know why everyone... Will a VPN not solve the problem? No, it won't. No, it won't. And I really think this goes back into the point that I tell people when I made my YouTube video, that I said that VPNs are overhyped and misunderstood. The issue isn't the access to the content. The issue is where you get, where the content is hosted. TikTok has servers inside the United States serving the United States customers to segregate it, which was one of the requirements that the Trump administration had. The issue then becomes, by virtue of the law that Joe Biden has signed, all the vendors that do the hosting, the connections, all of that stuff are not allowed to do business with TikTok. So what point will a VPN be if I can't do it? TikTok themselves has basically said Sunday they're expecting the site to go dark with just the option to download your data. And a VPN access isn't going to mean much because you have to remember, for those of us that are in the creator fund and all that, we had to actually provide a bunch of documentation for our legal incorporation and everything. There's more methods than just what IP address you're coming from to determine where a creator is geographically located. They have access to our payment methods and things like that. They can easily figure it out. So no, a VPN is not going to be this magic bullet. And that's one reason why I always tell people, y'all need to stop harping on VPNs as being a magic silver bullet, because it only helps geo-blocks. It doesn't help infrastructural issues like this. Who cares if TikTok goes away? Says the guy in my TikTok live commenting through the TikTok app. You're fine with whatever happens. Well, you're not the one making content and losing potentially anywhere from a quarter to half of your content creator income like I am. I have an editor I pay to do a lot of my clipping videos that I still have to pay for the YouTube shorts and everything like that. And I still have to keep the lights on from all the things that I use in the lab to keep everything going. Not just in terms of, like Office 365 and things like that, but all the different ancillary services I have to use to connect into, captioning services, all of that. So it's going to take me time to get YouTube and Twitch to displace that money. And until then, I'm going to have to pull out of my personal funds to keep things afloat. Last time I tried to go dark, my business page has stayed plausible to circumvent. So what I'm hearing, and again, nothing is for certain until the event happens, is the pages themselves are going to stay up. The people that will then be able to, still be able to access TikTok outside the USA will be able to find where we've linked our other content, like my link trees and all of that stuff. But I won't be able to log in to post new content. What if you use a virtual machine in another country? No, it doesn't matter. Because American content creators, it's not a matter of just, I'm just connecting in to make the content. Content creators that are pulling an income in have to give a bunch of documentation and set their geographical region. There's multiple points, not just of where I logged in to say that I'm in the USA, but there's also like documentation of my incorporation and things like that. So no, a VPN, a virtual machine, there is no technological solution to this issue right now. And this is one issue I need to explain to a lot of tech and cybersecurity people. You cannot fix a legal and regulatory issue with a tech solution. That's what it is at the end of the day. This is a political issue. This is a legislature issue. This is a regulatory issue. This is not we can just slap on a tool and do that. No, it's not going to fix any of that. You can get a dedicated IP. No tech solutions are there. Will you be live on Twitch? Yes, I'm actually live on Twitch simulcasting right now. Whenever I go live with these streams, I'm always live on YouTube, Twitch, and TikTok. So y'all can always find me on YouTube. You can find me on Twitch. I even have a Discord server, which, by the way, I have to make this movie night announcement. I'm only in here for the next hour or so. So those of you know, we have a Discord server that I put together, and every week we have a movie night in there, and we have movie night tonight at 9 p.m. So I just wanted to pop in tonight after I got my dinner together. As you can see, ribs. Okay, I still got to eat. And I wanted to hang out with y'all for what may possibly be my last stream that goes out to TikTok as well. Thank you all for all the people I'm seeing subscribe over on YouTube. I can see that information coming over this monitor. What's going on in here? Oh, we're just this is a surprise little stream going on right now because, as you may know, because this is TikTok YouTube comment going on for anyone else that's on the other platforms. The TikTok ban is coming about. I originally started making content through TikTok, so that is unfortunately the majority of my audience. So I decided we're gonna do one last stream before this may possibly be our final stream forever, and just fill my community in that's coming in on what the situation is, where they can find me, and what my plans are for the future. The Discord you can easily find. It's discord.chiefgeek3d.com. I 302'd it inside of Cloudflare for that. You can always find it in the links in bio, so links.chiefgeek3d.com. Under the socials tab, we'll always have all of my socials under there. I try to keep that updated as much as possible. I do need to update the blog links and all there for everything, but the blog, chiefgeek3d.com, has at least most of the stuff there. I don't think I've added my Blue Sky or my Xiaohuangshu on there. So I am on Xiaohuangshu, also known as Red Note. I've been on there for the better part of a week. That algorithm over there is amazing. Like, it's kind of funny to say Xiaohuangshu actually has a better app than TikTok's own app, and the algorithm by far way better than Instagram and YouTube Shorts. So for all those people like, why don't you just leave TikTok for YouTube Shorts or Instagram? Well, the reality is, in the 5 years I attempted to make content, was it 5 years? I was on Instagram for like 3, 4, whatever years anyway, until I privated my account. I barely made like that many followers on there, and I've already made twice the following on Xiaohuangshu in less than 1 week, Red Note, than I did on Instagram. And I'm honestly actually exploring, because after talking with a lot of the Chinese people out there is a good IT and cybersecurity community out there, and a bunch of people that were talking tech, and the whole point of me making content in the first place was to educate people on IT, cybersecurity, and technology as a whole. So Even if TikTok is restored, I don't see myself going away from the app now. I've actually opened up the door to another community out there, and no joke, I'm actually looking into what a trip possibly next year to Shenzhen would be like, because I've always wanted to check out their electronics and everything. I've always said that on Twitch. This isn't something like, oh, wow, I saw this app and all that. No, I've wanted to go to Shenzhen for years, but now I'm like really solidified in, yeah, I need to go out there. I need to explore Shenzhen, go to that giant place for all the technology and everything like that, and maybe go meet some people out there in terms of tech, and hopefully I'll be able to do some long form content and vlog out my experiences out there. I think it'll be pretty fun. My Twitch, all of my social media is the same username. ChiefGeek3D is the username. Saludos desde Chile. What does that mean? Oh, yeah. Hello from Chile. What's up, bro? Been watching your YouTube for years. First time I've seen you on TikTok. That's interesting, because I've been on YouTube a lot less time than I have been on TikTok. I only put the occasional YouTube short up when they started doing those, and then I went full bore into YouTube long form content this past August while I was at B-Sides and DEF CON in Vegas. And TikTok's my largest community. Compared to the YouTube, where I have just over 2,000 people, my TikTok has 370,000 people. So this is definitely going to be a huge hit for me, because that is my biggest community. Oh, the movie tonight? The movie tonight over in the Discord that we'll be watching for movie night at 9 p.m. Eastern in 1 hour is The Net, the 1995 classic with Sandra Bullock. Weird question. How did you get the Linode shirt? So when I was at Linux Fest, Ohio, there's these different Linux conventions that go on across the United States. Like there's Linux Fest Northwest, there's Linux Fest Ohio, and people drive into all these different conventions. You should look into them if you're really interested in learning more about Linux and the open source community and projects out there. They're usually really inexpensive to get in. Like, it's just a matter of if you're not local to the area, room, board. For me, it was like about a 40-minute drive, so it wasn't that big of a deal to go each day. And then the convention itself, when I went, was about $25. Well, Linode was actually there as the booth, and they were giving T-shirts away along with $100 credits, so I picked up a few shirts. So I actually have like 3 of these. But yeah. That it works like this. It'll keep working for a while, but you won't be able to update, so eventually it'll get out of date, so it'll stop working. No, Dylan, so they corrected that. That was the original thought a lot of people were going to have, but they clarified that there's so much infrastructure in the United States that they built out specifically to serve and cater to the U.S. population. Because remember, they had, what was that, the whole Project Texas, I think it was, a few years ago, where originally under Donald Trump, when he wanted to ban TikTok, was like, we need to, have all that. So TikTok went out to Oracle, Larry Ellison, big Trump supporter himself, and they have Oracle overseeing the data in the U.S. The problem with the law as it stands, as Biden signed it, is that once the date passes, all the vendors that were giving material support to TikTok in their U.S. operations legally can't function. It's a whole amount of legal limbo things that, technically speaking, and they addressed this in the Supreme Court in the hearing, because of the limbo situation, if it were to be that the presidential branch weren't to enforce the penalties that come along with this, TikTok still technically is breaking the law, and those penalties could be, in fact, occurring, but just not enforced. So if a president goes around and gives a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, elbow, elbow, and just says, like, hey, it's okay, you don't have to do anything, that doesn't stop another president coming in from enforcing it and realizing that it is still illegal, and in the letter of the law, they have broken the law. So there's a whole bunch of things. So it's a bunch of TikTok is saving their ass. Unfortunately, Republicans and Democrats really fucked themselves. This is a pure example of why we need to get boomers out of Congress, because the reality is, why did we get to this situation? The Supreme Court of the United States doesn't understand the way the technology works. They were even comparing it to, like, well, what if I go to a store and buy another t-shirt? Like, that was literally the analogy they gave out there. They don't understand it. The legislature pushing it out doesn't understand it. And the executive branches, well, do you think these freaking these aren't even boomers? Donald Trump and Joe Biden are like, what, the silent generation, basically? Like, they were of the generation that they were born before the first computers as we know them. Like, even the IBM taking up the entire basement workspace I have, computers were out. But yeah. Yeah, the Discord, you can find it in the links in bio. It's, you can go to discord.chiefgeek3d.com. It is a community Discord. Officially goes by Renegade Penguin, but yeah, you can join the Discord channel out there. I actually see a few of you jumping in now, because I have it up on the monitor right now. Yeah, so I see y'all coming in. I see the welcome wagon coming through. That's one of the channels, by the way. All right. Trump will bring it back. I don't trust Trump as far as I can throw him. How many times has Trump said one thing and done another? Let's remember, the whole reason for why the entire idea of banning TikTok came about was because of Donald Trump. Because of his entire China. That was the entire reason it got banned. If Donald Trump didn't do what he did, and all the MAGA crowd go over there, rant about China in their ignorant, economically illiterate ways about how the global economic system works, didn't do that, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in today. A lot of this is caused by knee-jerking of politicians that don't understand the way the world works. Saw someone moving in the back behind the strings. Yeah, that's Yitz, the guy that made the ribs. Yep, we got the Discord, we got the Matrix, talking about TikTok, yeah, blah, blah. Sorry, things are coming in pretty fast. People are doing stuff that would get them banned on TikTok as TikTok is getting banned. See, I don't understand why people are doing that either, because there's no guarantee that, this is the end entirely as we know it. We just know right now, TikTok has said they will go black probably for a few days. It may get restored, but let me put it this way. Even if Trump does happen to restore TikTok, don't expect a lot of people on TikTok to be like, oh my God, thank you, President Trump. We have long memories. We remember the whole reason we got into this mess was because he opened his damn mouth. So, the honest truth is, if anyone starts thanking Donald Trump for restoring TikTok, no. You just say, thank you for doing what should have been done in the first place when you went and tried to go after TikTok in the first place. This whole mess happened because of you. You put American citizens and their economic possibilities in jeopardy because of your head up acidness. Y'all can figure out a better way to do that. Look, most of my bitching I do to politicians, I run through ChatGPT beforehand because there's so many shits, fucks, and all that I have to clear out because I'm pissed. Let me see. Reminds me of how Internet Explorer just joined TikTok. Did you see my previous message by chance? I think I did. Think so. Sorry, messages were coming by fast. I have the chat menu here. It's tracking YouTube, TikTok, and Twitch chats. Thank you for everyone that's been following me over on the Twitch side. Sorry, I am trying to catch up with things. YouTube Shorts only shows me chess or basketball. Oh my God, YouTube Shorts is horrible for me too. YouTube Shorts has showed me the most irrelevant content that I can think of. Like, most of the shit I'm getting, like, I'm not even gonna joke with you. Like, let me pull this up. We'll just pull up my shorts.
One of the main reasons.
All right, so like maybe once in a while it'll
People are switching to Linux.
get me something relevant, but a lot of the of course, now it's not finding me the good examples, but like a lot of these things it's pulling out are, you know, like it's literally, how do you explain it? It's the guy sitting there with screenshots of a meme from like Twitter or something, like absolutely low effort content, just staring at you. That's the majority of what I get on YouTube Shorts. Why the hell do I even want to be on YouTube Shorts? I've never actually had the feeling with YouTube Shorts where another one, another one, another one. You know how on TikTok you can get sucked into a hole and basically just be like fed a bunch of content that like it draws you in. I don't get that with YouTube. I don't get that with Instagram. I do get that with Chuaohongshu, the Red Note app. That app has blown me away. The UI, the UX, the overall design of it is even better than TikTok. And ironically, it's driven everyone over to an actual Chinese app. Not just this, the parent company is Chinese, but now we're straight up on a Chinese app that we're learning Mandarin to be able to use properly. And, like, I'm now, like, sitting here, like, I kind of want TikTok to become Shuaohongshu in the way they have everything formatted and laid out and everything. Like if you haven't played with it's really something to behold. And as far as the security issues with it, I've been monitoring on my firewall. There's nothing really been weird with it. It's on the same phone as my TikTok app, so like there's nothing really on that phone I care about. And I had a video on Shuaohongshu that I talked about where I don't understand the paranoia a lot of people have with like downloading an app just because it's Chinese, and they're like, well, you know, if you install this app, they're gonna have access to all the data on your phone, and it's gonna be able to see all your images and everything. And I'm like, that's kind of how social media's worked for like the past 20 years or so. This is the same shit we've been complaining about with Facebook and everything, but it fell on deaf ears. And the funny thing is, when I've actually been analyzing how Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all that traffic on my network goes versus TikTok, and now even Shuaohongshu, because Yitz uses Meta products more than I do. Holy shit, Meta is far more noisy and chatty of a service than TikTok ever was. Yes, it feeds back into a beacon for advertising and things like that, and I could track the traffic and everything. I'd pull it up, but it would give my own IP address and everything. Like, I'll see if I can get a way to talk about this on a further YouTube video, but it'll be hard to actually pull that out unless I can do some stuff with TikTok to pull the logs in a proper way. But now it's kind of weird with the ban. I should have planned ahead of that. But anyway, the reality is, Meta is actually by far the worst app in terms of data handling and data collection. And the reality for that is it's not just as far as the app, it also has to do with the fact that we have Facebook pixels everywhere. Meta has what's called a pixel. You drop on a website anywhere you go. And that can actually track analytics from any website off of Facebook and then feed it back to Meta. So Meta can track your whatever you're doing without even logging in on Facebook. Meta is making shadow profiles of all of you, even if you've never made a Meta account, so they can sell ads. That's the reality. Donald Trump is not Jesus, savior of the government. People most need to know that. Yeah, I think everyone needs to know that politicians are, well, politicians are like diapers and should be changed often for very much the same reasons. I don't know, I also say that. Oh yeah, there's no way I'm gonna forgive Jeff Jackson. That fucking asshole came on TikTok, made us all be like, hey, this is the politicians that actually is listening to us, and, you know, maybe we'll understand and actually do. Votes for the TikTok ban. Fuck you, man. No wonder you left Congress, because you knew, like, we're done. I think that the Tom Cotton's needed to go for a long while. He's needed to go for a long while. Like, Here's the thing. In terms of most of the Republicans on there, the only Republican that at least gets some of my respect is Rand Paul. And I say this because I followed Rand Paul's career for most of my politically active adulthood. I was also a follower of his father, Ron Paul. I voted for Ron Paul in 2012, actually. Did I do 2012? Either way, I voted for the Pauls. And I remember I voted for Rand Paul as an FU vote in the Republican primary in 2016 against Donald Trump. Just as an FU. No. I was going to plan to do it, and then Paul dropped out. I think Kasich was still in the running, so I voted for Kasich as an FU, and then I voted third party in the actual election. But anyway, but yeah, Rand Paul has been against the TikTok ban since the beginning. Now, let's make this very clear. He's not necessarily, I would say, a fan of China, but he's one of the most consistent politicians out there. Yes, there are things that we're going to look up and we're not going to agree with, but that's every human. But yeah, as far as like Republicans and Congress and all that, they'll just fall lockstep with whatever Trump said. Because do you think Cotton is really going to go stand up against Trump with the whole TikTok ban if he goes to restore it? No, he's not. He's a schmuck. YouTube Shorts is like living in a simulation. YouTube Shorts is like having a less than 70 IQ version of TikTok and that kid thinking that they are the champion of the world. Everyone just pats them on the head and says, "You go, Timmy, you go kick that ball into the hoop," you know? Or, like, the goal or whatever. Just as, cheering them on, even though, like, look at Timmy go. It's like that moment. I see house clips, like House MD. Yeah, that's the other thing, is, like, YouTube, ironically, is putting up a lot of things that are against the MCA. No, there's worse, and there's even worse with what are we talking about? Well, is it all because of Trump? I mean, TP-Link is also getting banned, and with Salt Typhoon campaigns against telecom companies, isn't China a real threat with their 100-year plan to usurp U.S. as a world superpower? A good chunk of it is because of Trump, but a lot of it is also because you have to understand, our parents grew up during the Red Scare. They still have ingrained in their head that China is the China of Mao Zedong. The great leap forward, willing to kill a lot of people. And no nation is completely perfect. Let me make that completely clear. But here's the reality. The U.S., from what I've seen, is more concerned with trying to protect their economic status than they are about actually protecting their own people. Because there's no point in blocking Chinese EV cars. There's no point in doing that coming to the U.S. TP-Link, I know there was like something. The main issue came around, as if I can remember it correctly, was that if there's a vulnerability, it must also be disclosed, I think, to the government so they're aware of it or something like that. But here's the thing. The U.S. government did the same exact thing. Do y'all remember Eternal Blue, the exploits there that shut down the entire FedEx and everything? The NSA has literally developed toolkits to exploit foreign governments by purposely telling American tech vendors to hold back patches. You remember, like, the WannaCry ransomware, all that was happening years ago that I think was using the Eternal Blue exploit? Microsoft knew about that for a long time. But apparently they were told by the NSA, don't patch it. We need to still use this. The reality is the USA is not innocent in all of this stuff. The reality is, if you actually look, again, China's not a perfect country, just like the USA isn't a perfect country. But the reality is, you're talking about a population of 1.2 billion people, 1.3, 1.2 billion versus 300 million people. And you're telling me that you really think that they're not going to advance their technology to a point that it's already going to make America weak? Because let's put it this way. We've all done sports, I presume, as much nerds as we are. All of us know that we only become better athletes through competition. Well, the USA has had no competition because we walled ourselves off from China, and that's why TikTok came out of left field with an algorithm from ByteDance that ended up basically gave them the smackdown. So now, when you open up Xiao Huangshu and you're immediately like, why is it that I'm using this app in less than a week and it's already figured out there's firearms in there. It's actually a little bit, in weird ways, it's more lax than TikTok's. In other ways, it's not. But like, it already figured out like a lot of the things I'm into. It already figured it out. Like, it's like, oh, Chief likes food. Oh, firearms. He likes travel. And, you know, like, it's like figuring it out. Like, as I use it more and more, it's figuring out, that I'm into tech and, you know, cars and all of this. And the cars in China that we don't have available to us. I saw a BYD minivan for a family. I know, like, you're like, wow, you're talking about a minivan? Yes, I am. Because this minivan, fully loaded, was $50,000 it converted to. And it looked better than any fucking minivan I've seen in the U.S. at double the price. And, like, for those of you that are like, well, that's what you see on an app. When I was in Portugal, I've talked about this on many streams. I want a BYD Auto 3 as my next car. That car I was looking at is $36,000. It came to, I think, about $45,000 with taxes and everything in Portugal. So, yeah, very affordable. And we don't have access to a lot of that stuff. Hell, in China, they have cars that, like, are as cheap as, like, $15,000 out the door. Small little cars, get you to where you need to do, street legal, all that. Like, looking at the car, I'm like, that would probably be street legal in the U.S., too, with a couple of changes, maybe, for the, once it gets through, emissions testing and things like that. Hey, thank you for the follow over on YouTube and Twitch, guys. I've been seeing it come through. Sorry, I can't call you out individually. I'm seeing, like, people come in, like, in batches. So Suzuki's not really popular here. You see them every now and then, but they're not that popular. I like the Suzuki, don't get me wrong. But Suzuki's Japanese, if I'm not mistaken. Mud is terrible, but there's no accountability for ByteDance if Chinese gov mines it. Well, here's the thing. As proven by Edward Snowden, the NSA, PRISM, and the entire thing, there's no accountability from the United States government with FISA secret courts and anything like that just as well. Like I've been saying, it's not that I'm saying China isn't doing these things. What I'm saying is that America's been doing the same things we're complaining China's doing. And the reality is, while you talk about China mining data, China has a data protection law called PIPL. In the EU, you have GDPR. In South Africa, you have POPIA. In Canada, you have PIPEDA. In China, you have PIPL. In the US, you know what we have? Not a damn fucking thing federally. The best you can get is if you're a Californian from the CCPA. If the United States passed a federal data protection law that was on par with Chinese PIPL, South Africa POPIA, Canadian PIPEDA, and EU GDPR, this would not be an issue as much because now we would have a mechanism to incentivize companies to handle data properly, and if their data isn't handled properly, then we would fine them heavily. EU GDPR fines are not something to F around with, and they actually can, charge basically for a percentage of the entire company's revenue. I forget what the cap is, but they can charge some serious fines to companies that makes companies think twice. Because America has this problem where, oh, we're going to put a fine on this company. Slap on the wrist, nothing fucking changes. Opioid crisis, I had that whole happen. Did, all that company get around and change their ways? No. They just say, sorry for all the overdoses, and thank you for all the money. Bye. That's what they did. Buy any Trump last night? No, I didn't. If that was the tink, it would be used to get abortion. CCP only uses the iPhone, and yet Apple claims the iPhone is safer. That iPhone is safer. Well, Apple, so here's the thing. Apple actually has various versions of iPhones people aren't aware of. They have a more hardened version of the iPhone for U.S. nuclear plants as well. They have a version, I learned about this through some friends. It's a very, very, you gotta know someone for this. This is a version that doesn't have a camera installed in it. You can get an iPhone without a camera installed, and there's a couple other tweaks. And there's also ways to lock down the iPhone with lockdown mode. But yeah, there's a reason why I keep saying Apple out the box is the most private and secure platform without having to do any manual things. Blackberries got replaced with iPhones. Blackberries are great. I loved my Crackberry. The problem was Blackberry didn't see the movement with smartphones and everything, and if Blackberry had actually shifted into adopting an Android ecosystem a lot sooner, don't get me wrong, I loved the whole Blackberry OS they had. I loved it, but at a certain point they had to move over to Android because it was the writing was on the wall that this is an ecosystem they need to adopt, and they did. But it was too little too late when they did. Otherwise, BlackBerry would still be around. Honestly, if BlackBerry was still around, I'd probably be rocking a BlackBerry right now. As much as it's not that I like my iPhone. It's that I hate it less than I do. That's the last of my gift bounce. Congrats, sir, on being my last gift recipient. I appreciate you. Yeah, the U.S. Hold on. Yeah, isn't the U.S. the only one in the G7 without a data privacy law? Yep, I believe so. Pretty much the U.S. doesn't want to admit they're inferior to other countries, so they ban them. Exactly. We need competition to keep the United States competitive. And the problem is, China has been developing completely in a vacuum. They have 1.2, 1.3 billion people there. They have smart people just as well in the United States. The U.S., when we had the whole Vivek Ramaswamy, Elon Musk, getting in hot water over H-1B visas, as much as I don't care for those schmucks, they are right. We need H-1B visas to keep Americans competitive because we have a brain drain issue otherwise. And that is the one problem that a lot of people don't seem to understand. China is sending some of their best and brightest to America to go to our schools, which I'm okay with. I think education should be available for everyone. But I think that education should be, we should get rid of the whole student loan issue. Student loans and healthcare, come on, these are two things we should be tackling out of all the civilized countries in the world. Come on. But anyway, they come into this country, they get their education, then they go back to China or wherever and take that degree, but they don't actually then take the knowledge they learned in the U.S. and contribute it to the U.S. economy. So that's why we need these H-1B and other visas to incentivize workers and help workers in the United States. So, yeah, the honest truth is, if we don't, everyone thinks that banning China is going to somehow protect the U.S. All it's going to do is weaken the U.S. in long term. Yes, they have a larger population than us. But as long as we are completely walled off from what China is doing for innovation, we're not going to be innovating knowing what's out there in terms of innovations and advancements and everything like that. And the reality is, the Chinese, can come to the U.S., learn all of the things that we're doing and all of that. But do we do the opposite? No, we don't. We don't. How many Americans do you know really go to China to study how they do things, their tech scene, and all of that? There's very few people I know. The CEO of Ford is one of the few people that figured that out. He apparently drives a Xiaomi car himself to start to understand the Chinese car market so he can better compete against them. Because Ford, Chevy, and all those other companies are also in China, but they can't compete against Chinese companies, even with the Chinese versions of their own cars. American companies do have Chinese versions of their own cars, just like they have EU versions of their own cars that we don't have in our own markets because US regulation is really stupid. I'm talking about in terms of how many people do you know come from China to study the economic system in the U.S. versus how many people in the U.S. actually study the Chinese economic system? There's a huge disparity. More people are willing to come to the U.S. to learn how we do things than the Americans are willing to go to other places to learn how they do things. That's been an overall common problem with America in general. We have this problem where we think that we're number one, so we think that we don't have to go anywhere to see what the others are doing to possibly do any better. You going over to Red Note? Bro, I've already been on Red Note for a week. I've already got like more followers on there than I do on Instagram ever gave me. Hell, I've got more followers on Xiao Huangshu Red Note now than I do on Threads. That's right. Why would we bother going to a Meta app if we can barely get any traction or engagement? But then we go over to Red Note and, yep, there we go. US was ahead on the brightest brains. What happens now is the opposite. Exactly. Why did the US become the best and brightest? Because we brought the best and brightest in. Post-World War II, we were bringing in, Yahtzee engineers and all that stuff to get our rocket programs going. We had no problem whatsoever going to what used to be our enemy and taking their knowledge. And the people accuse China of IP tests still. What do you mean, the IP test? Don't know what you mean by that. There's always a chance they have some classified information that we don't know. The world does need an easy way to stay connected no matter what politics. Yeah, and I think that's the amazing thing is about Xiao Huangshu is this is one of the first times that I've seen in my entire life where people in China can directly connect and dialogue with Americans. And I've learned so much. I already got the request in for downloading my data and all that, but the honest truth is, you got a Discord? Yes, I do have a Discord. You can go check the link in the bio. There's a Discord. Or you can go to discord.chiefgeek3d.com, and it will redirect you to the Discord invite link. So, yeah, there's plenty of people there. We've got almost 900 people in the Discord right now. One of the fact YouTubers did it for 8 years. I think I know what you're talking about. There was Lawai86, there was Serpent ZA, and there was also Stranger Parts, and there was a few others. But in totality, they're in the minority. They may split the app. Oh, are you talking about Xiao Huangshu? Yeah, I heard they're talking about splitting the app, but the honest truth is I think they should just keep one app, English and Mandarin, inside of it. And because the overall sentiment inside of China is they actually like that this is happening. Because the problem is, when it came to China, and this is the same problem, let me tell you, being a Middle Eastern and Jewish individual. There are so many people out there that get all these wrong misconceptions, preconceived notions, and they think they know about these cultures and everything, even though they've never talked to a person from this background. And then I go talking to them, and then, they're like, oh, wait, I actually didn't know shit about them, and everything I was being told about Jews and Middle Eastern people and all that may have been wrong. And that's what I think is going on right now with a lot of the people who are connecting with the Chinese people over on Red Note, Xiao Huangshu, because we had a lot of preconceived notions that, like, we've all heard the wildly insensitive things like, Asian people eat dogs and all that. Bro, Chinese people love their fucking dogs. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen how much they pamper them and they love them and take pictures of them. Like, dude, they're just like us. So, Guthrie, hey, man, thanks for all the content. I appreciate what you did here. Appreciate the love. It'll be a little upsetting, but I'll still be making content. I'll be over on Red Note, Xiao Huangshu. I'll be on Twitch. I'll be on YouTube. I'll be in my Discord. And then, of course, Blue Sky and Mastodon. So, I'm not going away. I just won't be on TikTok. It's unfortunate. Thought she was Anglo-Saxon, cool beans. Yeah, a lot of people think I am, but I'm just white passing. I'm first generation Moroccan. I wouldn't say I'm fluent, but je parle un petit peu en français, und streichen ein bisschen Deutsch, mit der Werke Satirit. Also, but I think I gotta, like, pick a language I need to focus on, because I've been hopping around between, I need to brush up on my French from when I was in Morocco. But then I'm like, yeah, but I want to move to Portugal. Maybe I should learn my Portuguese. And then I'm also like, fuck, now I gotta do, Mandarin. I'll eventually figure out something. So long, friend. Anytime now. Yep. Red Note does some weird bulletin comment thing. Yeah, they have some interesting features in there that I really think TikTok should adopt if they happen to come back. I really think they need to copy more features from Xiao Huangshu, but do it in a proper way. Don't copy it like Meta did. But yeah. Do you think there's any danger with Red Note stealing photos, snapshots, browsing data from phones? Let me rephrase your question here to be a little bit more accurate. Do you think there is any danger with social media applications stealing photos, snapshots, browsing data from phones? Absolutely. Social media applications as a whole. Nothing specific about Red Note. Meta did this for years. Meta was taking your browsing information off of your phones. It was taking your photos. It was doing all of this and analyzing it and all that for years. So the reality is, if you're that worried about, them having access to it, like, look, I have it on the TikTok phone, this little Samsung here. I limit Xiao Huangshu to only have access to certain media. But on this phone, there's nothing really of concern that I'm worried about data-wise. So the honest truth is, it's the same thing with all social media. It's nothing unique to Xiao Huangshu. With Red Note or TikTok or Instagram or any, it's all the same issue of managing your it's all a matter of how you manage your data, how you use your data, how you access things than that. This is why I tell people, it's not a matter of, I think I mentioned this specifically in the VPN video I did on YouTube when I talk about how VPNs are overhyped, misunderstood, and not a silver bullet. Where people need to have behavioral changes to better improve their privacy more than just slapping on any random tool. Yeah, CCP has your data. It's not like they can use it against you because you're a foreigner to them. Exactly! Like, here's the thing. If you're an average, everyday United States citizen, what can a foreign government do to you as a United States citizen when you are inside the United States. What, do you really think a foreign government is going to set up a massive call center to intentionally go and steal the identity of millions of Americans? Like, that doesn't even work on scale. All those scam centers we know are run by unethical individuals. So the honest truth is, no, I think the concerns are overblown. Now, if you're, like, say, a person that's saying, like, you're in the military, hell no, you shouldn't have social media on your phone. And let me make that very clear. You shouldn't have social media, period. There were people that were giving away secret military bases because of their fitness tracking apps. A VPN, none of that is going to fix any of that if, again, it goes back to behavioral changes where we have to understand that if you are making laps around a military base with your Fitbit and it has a GPS tracker or your Apple Watch or whatever, that's going to show up as a hotspot on a fitness map that then could actually be translated and extrapolated to say, huh, that's a lot of weird activity in the middle of nowhere. What's going on over there? Huh. That's the reality of this whole situation. So, yeah, social media was useful in Ukraine. Social media was literally used by Ukraine to figure out troop positions. That's the honest truth. And that's why I'm so upset with the Supreme Court, the United States government, at every branch, because this is all a result of old fuckers that don't understand technology the way we the way we live in right now in the current world as it exists. Banning an app, doing all these things wouldn't fix it. Wait, it's 2:32 local time for me, so maybe the app may stay. No, it's U.S. time, so it may end up being Eastern Standard Time. Like it's about 8:38 for me right now, p.m. So it'd be about 20:38 right now. So it'll probably be at double aught. 00. But we'll see where it goes at that. Thanks for all the people subscribing over on YouTube and Twitch. I see you're them piling in. They're coming in like batches, so like I can't call everyone out individually like I normally do. But thank you all for joining. We're going to midnight now. What's up? I'm not going to midnight now. I wanted to at least hop on to do a quick live and everything before I have my scheduled movie night in my Discord with my community. Every week in my Discord, I have a movie night, little hacker movie, funny movie that we just get together in the community and kick back and relax. That starts normally at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard on Saturday. That's been a standing thing for several months now. So I'm hanging out for at least a little while now. How can I find you on Red Note? Just look up Chief Geek 3D. Or go to my links in bio. I've already linked my Chao Huangshu profile for all of you to follow me on there. So you can go find my content. I'm actually working on getting back to doing more content directly for the app, similar to what I used to do with TikTok before I made the switch to long-form content. But, yeah, I've been on here a lot lately. I actually just uploaded 2 videos before this live here. One looks like it's under review. Their posts get often under review because they don't have enough English-speaking people to review things, but usually it goes through. It was my ADSB plane tracking device, which on the surface can look a little bit suspicious. I can definitely agree with that one, but we'll see that. But yeah, been doing pretty well. And in terms of, like, the virality of posts, I have, like, a couple posts there that are, like, in the tens of thousands of views. So I am on Chao Huangshu, I am on Discord, I am on Twitch, I am on YouTube, I am on Blue Sky, I'm on Mastodon, I'm pretty much everywhere. They use Discord as a display for drones, I can believe it. Trump wants Canada and Greenland so he can build data centers in the Arctic. Okay, let me make this, let's point out a funny little reality here. You know, Donald Trump and the Republicans had the inauguration moved indoors because they couldn't stand the weather looked to be a little bit too cold for them, right? Now, let's look this up, right? DC weather forecast. Let's look up what the DC weather forecast is. Okay? Celsius week. Okay, so for the week right now, what is it? The 20th would be Monday. So Monday they were looking at between -3 to -11 degrees Celsius, okay? That's a bit chilly and everything like that. Now they're talking about, bringing it all indoors and everything like that. Weather this week. Okay, do you know what the weather is in Greenland right now? The weather in Greenland isn't that much better than it is in the inauguration. Now, they said they're worried about the cold. It's far from the first time they've done inaugurations outdoor. But I find it funny that the party that is talking about going after Canada and Greenland is moving their inauguration indoors because it's too cold. Do you understand the connection here and why I find that pretty damn funny? Climate change is F. Well, the reality is the cold temperature going on right now in DC is not unheard of. They won't be the ones doing the building. They will get their H-1B on free labor to do it. H-1B doesn't cover that. H-1B is highest skilled labor. Now there's H-2B, which is a little bit different. Which I think H-2B is what like Trump was talking about with his employees and everything like that. Yeah, temporary non-agricultural workers. Oh yeah, Panama. Van Halen reference. Really hope I didn't fuck your ears up with that. They're figure out some unethical means to do it. Oh, that's very simple. All Donald Trump has to do is he's already established the MO. He hires the people to do the work, and then he just doesn't pay them. When you yelled, it was silent. Really? Clip the whole time. God damn it. Hold on. Did I have a mic filter on there? I'm really curious now. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. Microphone check. Oh, it might have been the compressor that clipped it. Anyway. Well. I'll have to figure it out. Because I did remove the limiter at least. So, yeah, I got the limiter out. I don't know. I'll have to play with that later. Anyway. See you later. Every time it gets quiet for a second, I think that TikTok is going down. All right, everyone. Don't say a word. Don't comment. Just freak them out. Okay, I'm just fucking with you. I want all my normie non-tech accounts I follow attractive to join my Discord. see, where are y'all gonna get like tech and off-the-wall humor like this once this is gone? Ugh. Just like freeze midway. Oh yeah, I gotta make sure. Let me check my matrix. I should be in there. Oh, thank you for the subscriptions over there on YouTube, guys. I appreciate all of you. Knights of the Rotund Table. I feel like I could be their captain. But the most unfortunate thing with this whole TikTok ban is it pushes back my plans to better monetize my content, because I was working to get an editor better pay that has been doing my clips and everything like that. But also I've been fighting with my insurance company because I've been having some health issues to pay for one of my prescriptions, and they want me to pay $600 out of pocket. And I was looking at ways I could possibly get this going, and one of the ways I may have to do is basically, because the insurance from work doesn't cover this one med, what I wanted to do, and this whole TikTok ban is throwing a wrench in the gears for, is ramp up the amount of money I was making from the content creation, have my little entity I put together for all of this buy insurance for me, and that would technically be my first time I'd actually pay myself. I've not paid myself for any of the content I've made. It's gone into hardware, paying other people for other things and all that, so I could actually get my medication. But yeah, I'm on YouTube. The app does not make it. It's been a pleasure, fam. It's been a pleasure, Glenn. But I will be continuing on YouTube, Twitch, Blue Sky. What all platforms am I on? I need to, like, make a spreadsheet. It's never too late, right? What about Rockfin and Rumble? F them. Yeah, I'm same handle everywhere. So, I've got a Patreon, merch store, I've got a Twitch, Matrix server, Discord server, YouTube, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Xiaohuangshu, Rednote, PixelFed, and of course my little WordPress blog, which I'm going to be working on making WordPress blog content for more often. I haven't posted on there in like a year or something because I've been busy, but yeah. What's wrong with Rockfin and Rumble? A lot. Well, for one, there's many different reasons why I'm not going to Rumble. For one, it's that whole alt-right crowd kind of thing. The content that I've seen on there was very toxic. The algorithm is absolutely horrible. And there's just like, it goes down from there. It's not a good platform. It really isn't. It seems to be, Rumble is where all the YouTubers that got kicked off of YouTube go. Yeah, that's the word there, Jatinder. And Rockfin, haven't really heard of that one. And like, I'm already like kind of stretched between all the platforms. If I were to add another platform, the honest truth is I'm now in research mode into the Chinese influencer ecosystem. There is potential out there because I was talking to a few people that have done business and stuff out there. There's a whole market and everything like out there, and they are looking for tech and cybersecurity KOLs and stuff like that. So there's opportunities there. The question is, how would monetization translate into that? But there are Chinese brands that apparently are trying to get creators to talk about them in the US and stuff like that. But we'll see how that goes. One of the main things I want to do is I wanted to do is like focus on getting to Shenzhen maybe next year. What I would honestly like to do, I don't know if I'm going to make it for this year for the goal for all the things, but I want to make it to B-Sides and DEF CON this year. I want to possibly make it out to TwitchCon if possible. I want to make it out to CES next year if possible. I was at CES in 2016 years ago. I met John McAfee there. John McAfee, meeting him at CES is the whole reason I got into the whole Monero scene and cybersecurity as a whole. If it wasn't for meeting John McAfee, I wouldn't be in the track I am right now. And yeah, hopefully that'll work. How does Mastodon work? Well, Mastodon is a decentralized social media platform built on ActivityPub. I have an entire YouTube video that goes deeper into threads, Blue Sky, and Mastodon, how they work with AT protocol, ActivityPub, and everything. But they're basically all just decentralized and federated. So my server has my content on it, and then it can federate to all the other servers that I've interacted with, and then we can have a web of connectivity and everything like there. I think my server currently is like interacting with something like around 10,000 or so servers when I checked. Chief in China, that would be amazing. Yeah, well, Shenzhen has been one thing that has always been on my bucket list, but the honest truth is when I was looking into it, I think like you can only generally get like a 6-day travel visa or something like that for China. So Yitz and I are discussing possibly just going to China for a week. But the honest truth is I told him, because he's like, he wants to go to Guangdong and was it Qingdong, I think it was, is the one that like is basically on a 4D map. I told him like straight up, you're probably gonna have to abandon me in Shenzhen for a week, because I'm literally just going to that one tower with everything. Shenzhen versus Akihabara. So they are tech centers for two different reasons. Shenzhen is where they innovate the technology, where they produce a lot of the technology, where you can get a lot of your components and all that for the modern stuff. So like everything tech-wise, like you look at your like electronics here that you buy, you'll be surprised how much actually traces back to Shenzhen. Akihabara is where you get a lot more of your unique Japanese-only electronics, the stuff that's in the micro ecosystem of Japan. Like a lot of electronics you won't see in the rest of the world. So now there is some overlap between the two in terms of electronics and stuff from that, according to friends, but they are totally different in why I want to experience both of their electronic and tech ecosystems out there. Yeah, TP-Link is from Shenzhen. Yeah, TP-Link, Creality, I think, is in Shenzhen. Yeah, there's a lot of companies in Shenzhen. We'll take for normies to have servers self-hosting in their homes the way they have desktops, laptops, and phones currently, like making self-hosting a norm. Honestly, a lot of that is it's a skill issue. I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm being serious. Like, I want you to think about, if you have a home lab, what you have to do. What it took you to get your knowledge up to that level. The time you invest into the systems and everything you do. Now think about the average person. The average person doesn't have time for a lot of the shit that we do. That's why they hire us. So, that's the honest truth. What's the biggest barrier there? It's not an issue of access, it's an issue of willingness and an issue of time. Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with TP-Link per se, it's just that they're going to be banned soon. TikTok is messing up bad now. Ooh. It's the end of the world as we know it. End of the world as we know it. We got a few minutes until I kick out of here for my Discord movie night. So hey, Redbearded Viking, how's it going? Thanks for joining. But yeah, I will still be making content over on Twitch, YouTube, Xiaohuangshu, Red Note. I'll be on Blue Sky. I'll be on Twitter. Not Twitter. Fuck Twitter. Sorry, why the hell did I say that? I'll be on Mastodon. I'll be on a lot of different platforms. Like, you go to links.chiefgeek3d.com, you can find all of my stuff. Or, worst case scenario, go to the chiefgeek3d.com blog. All the links are in my bio. And, with hard-coded root passwords, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that was an issue a few years ago. And I think it was California that passed a law that forced a lot of routers nationwide to change their practices, which is why, if you see routers now, when you get them, they have their own programmed stuff like that. Great shirt. Do you work at Linode? No. I've had this shirt for like 8 years now. Found you on YouTube. See you there, buddy. Thank you. I will definitely see you there. Can't like or nothing. Can't see your likes, and only 13 people watching BS. The massive amount earlier. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I want to say that I am so thankful for all of you, the amazing community we've built. When I came onto this platform about 5 years ago, um, I came over here because I honestly just was seeing dog videos. I kept seeing videos pop in my Facebook feed when I had a Facebook profile. Um, and I got tired of the toxicity. Everyone was bitching and moaning. And you know what's funny? They're like saying that they could use TikTok to cause dissidents in this country, to cause, us to, go against each other and everything like that. But I remember I left Facebook because of that exact reason. Because I was on Facebook and I just realized one day, wow, I keep seeing these TikTok videos with fun dog videos and funny things, and while I'm on Facebook, all I'm seeing is people bitching and moaning about politics and getting at each other's throats about politics and just shouting into the void and hate and animosity towards each other on Facebook. And I decided to make a profile on TikTok. And all I did was I started watching dog videos and everything like that. And I then started getting TikTok, as it does. It like tries feeding you different content. And I had a bunch of tech content. And then I started 3D printing and showing some content on there. And then TikTok fed me more information. You had a bunch of these young Gen Z kids that don't know their ass from a hole in the ground in terms of tech, giving a bunch of advice that would break their machine. And I corrected a lot of their information and, started sharing my knowledge of IT and cybersecurity. And remember, when I started on TikTok, I was still just an IT MSP. TikTok, in part, is the reason why I was able to advance my career into a cybersecurity engineer at a role in a company that managed to pay for my CISSP. So as much as I've been here to help all of you learn, grow, and tinker, and enjoy hacking a bunch of different things and everything, you all have just pushed me just as much. You pushed me out of my comfort zone to make content. The honest truth is, I would be tinkering and doing a lot of the content that the stuff that I make content with, even if I weren't on TikTok, but I would just be in my basement, in my workspace, sharing with a few friends and a few groups, and nobody would ever really see it. And y'all made me feel welcome. Y'all were the reason why I even expanded my content. I grew, and I had people nagging me, hey, do you have a Discord? I'd love to have a Discord where we could have resources and connect. Made a Discord. Hey, are you on Twitch? I'd love to, see if you're live. Do you play video games? And I'd love to, see how you can do gaming on Linux and everything. Made a Twitch. Hey, do you do long-form content? I'd like to see some deeper dives on some of the content you make. So I made a YouTube. Hey, are you, like on Twitter or anything? So for a while I was on Twitter. Then I killed that for Mastodon and Blue Sky. If it weren't for you on TikTok, there would be no me. There would be no Chief Geek 3D. There would be no Tech Talk. We built something amazing and beautiful, and it has been an absolute pleasure and an honor to see all the messages from all of you from the past few days about how I've encouraged people to get into tech, start their career. Some people rejoined IT in their career because I helped them get their passion and everything. And don't make me cry. I'm crying right now. And you all made me a better person, a better technician, professional, in ways I could have never imagined. I never thought that I could ever be in a position where I'd have as beautiful as a community as we've built. And I can't thank all of you enough. This won't be the end of the road for my content creation, but it may at least be farewell for TikTok for now. Maybe for a few days, maybe forever. But I do want to say that I love all of you. I thank all of you for the friends I've gained through this app, the community that we've built, and the levels we've all raised together in our career and tech skills and knowledge. So I can't thank you enough. Love all of you. I gotta run off to my Discord's movie night. So if you want, you can join the Discord. Like I said, I'm all over. You can check the links in bio over on TikTok. Check links.chiefgeek3d.com for all of you. Over on Twitch and YouTube right now, too. Find all of my socials. You can join the Renegade Penguin Discord, the Matrix server I have. You can join the Patreon to help support me as well. I'll try to make some unique content for them as well. And you can catch me on Twitch, catch me on YouTube, Blue Sky, Mastodon, Red Note, or as we call it in Mandarin, Xiao Huangshu, PixelFed, and more. And I'll see you around. Happy hacking, everyone. Chief Geek 3D signing off on TikTok for hopefully what's not the last time. It's not goodbye. See you around. Happy hacking, everyone. I'll be on the Discord in a few minutes here for the movie.